Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Art of MMA. I'm Mike Ginn. That's the mechanic, Brandon Cuttino. Back for another episode to talk about everything. We'll briefly talk about what happened at UFC 272, break down some of that action between Masvidal and Covington. We'll jump into Khabib getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer, talk a little Paige VanZant and some Greg Hardy action before we make our picks for Bellator 276 and UFC Vegas 50. Might be the last UFC Vegas, Brandon. Might be a good number to finish on 50 because they're going on the road after this. So we'll talk about that. Of course, show's brought to you by Fighters First. Check out fightersfirst.shop. Brandon's got the Don't Look Back crossover tee with Mike Fresh. I got the Art of MMA shirt. Hey, we said it on social media. Pay attention. March 15th, next week, 1 week from Tuesday. Brand new retro collection coming out on Fighters First. Showed you the classic Fighters First thing. Brandon, you guys want to see a little sneak peek of the Art of MMA shirt?
Sure.
All right, well, check out the screen right now. This is going to be the new Fighters First and the new Art of MMA shirts. They're going to check out, and then we're going to go ahead and put those in the shop on the 15th, along with a bunch of other stuff. We're going to have a new mechanic shirt. We're going to have a new shirt for every single person we have under officially licensed, and then also some cool new original tees as well. So check out that. Some hoodies as well, by the way. I'm not leaving out the hoodies and maybe even a jacket. Who knows? Depends how much hustle's in me this week, Brandon. But that's the business side of things. FightersFirst.shop. Brandon, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good, man. Ready to talk some MMA with you.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some action. Brandon, last weekend we had the big epic grudge match. Man, what are your thoughts on that thing, man? Masvidal really just didn't show up last week.
Yeah, man. I mean, he kind of said it in the post-fight interview. He just really said, like, he never really got going. He never really kind of left first gear. I really think I thought him knowing, Colby Covington.
I think we both did. We thought he knew the way.
Well, I thought that would help him also too, like with his training. But to me, he straight up said it. Like he basically said, like the wrestling froze him. Like he got froze by the wrestling. Like he was worried about the takedowns. So that's why he really didn't throw as well. And then I think even in the fourth round when he did hurt Colby Covington, he didn't follow up, and he even knew it. He said like, yo, there was a 5-second window, and I just let it go. So I really think just the wrestling of Colby Covington really kind of froze him. Now this really makes me think, like, what would have happened if he really did fight, when he fought Ben Askren and he didn't get that flying knee kick, right off the bat, what would have happened? Because even in this fight, in the first 5 seconds, he came out, tried to do something spectacular, but Colby Covington backed up. He didn't come in, face first. So yeah, that's why that's why I think Masvidal took the L. I know a lot of people have their own other things about it, but to me, it's just like he was worried about the wrestling, so he just never really got going.
I think it's two things. One, I think it's bullshit when he said in the post-fight press conference, my wrestling was flat today. No, Jorge. You either have it or you don't. We've seen against Usman. We've seen against Covington. You either have wrestling or you don't. You're a striker. Your goal is to catch them. Caught Usman for a second. Couldn't finish him. Usman finished him. First time with the distance, second time he finished him. He caught Ben Askren. He caught Covington for a second. Now, Jorge has always had pretty good wrestling takedown defense. The first takedown was actually funny enough because Colby poked him in the eye. Jorge stopped a second to complain about the eye poke, which even the ref said between rounds was legit. And that's when he got the takedown the first round. Second round, I think, or third round, Colby hit him in the nuts with a knee, straight up. So Colby was doing a few things here and there you could say was unintentional, but that knee definitely looked intentional. But besides that, I'll go a step further. They just signed him to a new, I think, 5-year deal or 5-fight deal, one or the other. A lot of money. He's now the third highest paid fighter in the UFC. I'm talking about Masvidal. But Masvidal has fought 51 fights. Are you paying him for what he's going to do, or are you paying him for what he's done? Because that's kind of my question, because I saw kind of the second time against Usman. I definitely saw it this last fight. Back in the day, if you took Jorge down, he was right back up. He would just get back up. His takedown defense and his ability to get back up was crazy. You saw him in the Usman fight. You saw him in this fight where he was kind of content being on the ground for a little while. He didn't really rush to get back up. and you saw him fatigue like he's never really fatigued before. You never seen Masvidal get tired, but this fight and the last two, and especially the 5-rounder against Usman, where he took the, lost all the weight on like 6 days and rushed into a short notice fight, he's just not the same. And it kind of makes me wonder if finally things have kind of caught up with him with all he's been fighting since he was a teenager in the streets of Miami. We all know the story, right? So it's just kind of like, has time finally caught up to him? And is he kind of now what we said with like Cowboy Cerrone and maybe even Conor McGregor at this point because of all the losses, and Nate Diaz, like, is he in the category of no longer contention, but now are we putting him in just fun fights to watch? You know what I'm saying, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he now that guy? Like, you're no longer talking about him making a run. Like, at this point, it's done. If he had beat Covington, might have been like, all right, well, let's see what happens. Same thing with Covington. Covington beat him. Now we're like, all of a sudden, okay, maybe that door to Usman has just finally cracked a little bit. I think Covington needs to step up to Adesanya. I don't think it's going to happen with anytime soon with Usman because he's got Edwards in the summer. He's got Canelo in the fall, allegedly. So how long is Covington going to sit on the sidelines if he's waiting for another shot at Usman? I've heard them talk about Covington getting the winner of Chimaev and Burns. I've heard a lot of different talk. So be interesting. What do you think? Like, where do you think Covington goes?
Yeah, either he could get the winner of the Burns fight, or he could get the winner of the Muhammad Luque fight. I think either one of those matchups would be fine for him.
And by the way, scratch Dustin Poirier. It's not happening. Like Dustin said a number of times, he's not fighting the guy. For one, he's not going to fight him at 170. That's just a disadvantage for Dustin to have to come up that much weight. I'm not saying they probably don't walk around the same street weight, but it's different when you're used to fighting at a certain weight. You know that firsthand. And Dustin said it, like, he doesn't want to fight him on UFC. He wants to just on site. So Covington said, all right, on site, get me paid. Like, basically, Covington wants to get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Masvidal. He just wanted to get paid for it. I don't know what to expect if they ever did, but I think Poirier tends to stick to his guns. And if he says he's not going to do it, he's not going to do it. So I think that's an end of discussion. Before we hop into today's show real quick, Dos Anjos against Renato, man. Moicano showed a lot of heart, man. He showed a lot of heart for 5 rounds. I always think Mark Goddard's one of the best refs in the world. But I think he was a little overprotective of Moicano. Like, Moicano wanted to keep going. He was taking damage, but he was fighting back too. You saw he pretty much won the 5th round. I know a lot of people think that fight should have been stopped early. But, man, I never saw any quit in Moicano. I saw damage.
Come on, dude. Man,
I saw damage, but I didn't see no quit.
That fight should have been stopped after the 3rd. His corner did him a disservice.
Even the doctor said he was fine.
Yeah.
Twice.
Oh, man. Dude, yeah, the doctor can say you're fine, dude. It's like, dude, there is a difference, man. Like, the doctor is looking the doctor was looking, oh, hey, can you see out of your eye?
But you know how quickly doctors usually stop the fight.
That's it. No.
Once that doctor's called in the cage, it's pretty much all this shit.
No. Stop it, man. Stop it.
When was the last time you saw a doc let a fight continue?
Man, please, plenty.
I'm putting you on the spot. I know. I'm putting you on the spot, but
plenty.
I very rarely see a doc.
Plenty. Come on, man, dude. I think what the last doctor stoppage was what the Nate Diaz Masvidal fight, which was in New York. Same, remember, dude. This is Nevada. Those guys are letting people just fight till whenever. But like I said, dude, man, RDA had that fight controlled. He even admitted it, man. He took his foot off the gas in the 5th round. That's why Moicano looked like he was coming back.
He almost got Leon Edwards, though.
Because RDA took his foot back. But dude, man, this fight should have been done, dude. His corner soft, dude. The dude was done. Wasn't offering anything. Dude almost got stopped in the 3rd. Should have got stopped in the 4th. But hey, he's a tough guy. But there was no way he was winning this fight, man. His corner should have saved him. But instead, what happens? He takes more damage anyway. Just like your boy, who's fighting this Saturday, which we'll talk about. Your boy, Montero, whatever, man, who got beat up by Sugar Shine O'Malley. Dude, just taking beatings on beatings, bro. Corners don't want to save their fighters, man, because they see them in the positive light. They see them at their best light. They don't want to save them.
Chris Mutino.
Yeah. Chris Mutino, exactly, man. Just like him, man. He was getting plastered by Sean O'Malley. His corner should have stopped it, but nah, man. They just want to let him keep on going.
I mean, if the guy is fighting back, how are you going to take that from the fighter?
Like I said, man, I give no fault for Mark Garter, because there was really no chance in the fight for him to really step in and stop it. But like I said, I think his corner could have stopped it. My
only complaint with Goddard is one thing. He said going in the 5th round, he's like, you got 30 seconds to prove it to me.
Yeah, in which he did come out guns blazing in that 30 seconds. So he looked good. Yeah. RDA took his foot off the gas. And so RDA...
I don't think you should ever tell a fighter that. I don't think you should ever tell a fighter that. Because now, for one, you're completely changing the fighter's game plan. If the fighter had a chance to, was maybe going to take it easy and coast for a minute or two, that's gone. You're completely changing the fight. But on top of that, you're sitting there telling a fighter that he may be stopped. Now he's going to fight differently. He's going to go balls to the wall. But he might also go balls to the wall, get knocked the fuck out and get hurt because he went so hard. I think if you're a ref... He was
already hurt, man. The dude was done. The fight should have been stopped earlier.
In my opinion, if you're a ref, in your mind, you could be like, yeah, I'm going to give this guy 30 seconds. If he doesn't prove it to me, I'm going to stop the fight. Same thing as Herb Dean did to Chris Mutino. But I don't think you ever should tell a fighter that. I think that's just something you keep on the inside. And if that's what you see when they come out, he comes out and not doesn't do anything for 30 seconds. All right, this fight's over. But I just don't think you should tell a fighter that. I think you change the way the fight happens. And I think you're then injecting yourself into the fight, which I don't think the ref should ever do.
No, man, nah, dude. It's like our thing with open scoring. You want to know where you stand. You want to know that this ref is looking at stopping this fight if you don't show him something. So you got to show him something. It doesn't matter. Even if let's say Mark Goddard didn't say that. Let's say it was his corner that said that and said, "Hey, you got 30 seconds." Same thing.
That's different, though. That's his own people. That's different. That's his own people. I just don't think the ref should ever be part of the storyline.
Hey, man, fighter safety. That's what they're there for, man. So you got 30 seconds to prove.
I'm not saying he was wrong for thinking 30 seconds. I'm saying he was wrong for saying it. He should have kept it on the inside.
Nah, because then if he stopped it, then you would have been freaking out like, oh, why did he stop it? He didn't give him a warning. He didn't tell him this, tell him that. Nah, man, Mark Goddard did the good thing, man. Let me know when we talk about our top refs, man. Mark Goddard's in the mix.
Look, I think Mark Goddard's the best ref in the business. Hands down. I've said it a number of times. Him and Jason Herzog have both made mistakes before, but I still think they're the top two best refs in the business. That's a different story. But Moicano wasn't as hurt as people think he was. I saw a lot of post-fight stuff. He seemed actually perfectly fine. He just looked really damaged. Anyway, Bryce Mitchell handled Barboza like it was nothing. Kevin Holland kind of got messed up a little bit early, but then came back and stopped Oliveira. And then we'll talk about it in a little bit. Spivak might have just ended Greg Hardy's career. So some cool stuff this weekend. And Jalen Turner just keeps impressing, right? That dude is tall and long. And then, I will say one last thing before we move on to the show. Rodriguez, Jan, who'd you have winning? The split decision.
Oh, Rodriguez, baby. I was rooting.
You really thought she won?
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree more. I think Jan won the first 2 rounds. And I think Rodriguez won the third. And I think Jan should have won that one 29-28.
I think she lost the first, but I think she came in. I think she eked out the second.
Everybody had the first for Jan and the third for Rodriguez. It was the second that was close. And I just think Jan was just hitting the cleaner shots almost the entire fight. I just think Rodriguez did more damage in the third. But I think Jan got screwed in that one. I really think she won that fight. So
hey, another reason to have open scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have changed what happened in the third anyway because Rodriguez came out and did what she did in the third round. But I mean, it was a good card. It was from top to bottom. Your boy Dustin Jacoby got the win. I was a little surprised Ludwig Klein got the win, but overall, both of us went 2-1. Both of us, only one we got wrong was Jorge Masvidal. So, is what it is. Ready to get on with this show today?
Yeah.
All right. First subject up. We saw last Saturday night Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be one of the first inductees into the 2022 Hall of Fame class. It's going to happen International Fight Week in July, as it does every year. 29-0, Brandon, undefeated, former UFC former UFC lightweight champion. Never tasted defeat. Hell, he's only tasted. They say he was in a bad mood on Saturday because his fighter lost earlier to Tim Elliott. It's only the second time he's been in the corner and had a fighter lose. So, and we talked about the last time, I think it was in Bellator, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he doesn't like losing, and he carried that with him even during his like announcement of being in the Hall of Fame. He was like, I'm still pissed off he lost. What are your thoughts on Khabib going in the Hall of Fame so quickly after his career just ended like last September?
Exactly. I'm like, hey man, it's cool. Like, I mean, I can see him being a Hall of Famer, but I mean, the UFC doesn't have really like, like certain protocol or anything like that. Like, let's wait a while because like we say, man, in combat sports, man, retirements they come and go. Somebody say they retired a year, 2 years later, they're fighting again.
Does that tell you that Dana finally believes that he's done?
Yeah, but I mean, hey man, Khabib can still go into the Hall of Fame, and then boom, 2 years later he can be like, oh hey, I'm coming back. Like it can still happen. Like you see, Rashad Evans did it. He retired, went to the Hall of Fame. He just had a fight at Eagle FC. So
Khabib came back though. Wouldn't you think it would be for Eagle FC, not UFC?
I think he's still under contract, so it would still have to be with the UFC anyway. But I mean, hey, like kudos to Khabib, well deserved. He's one of the people that that does belong. But I do think that there are other people that they could have announced before him. But the UFC has have grudges, so it is what it is.
I absolutely think he deserves it. I don't think that's a question. 29-0, defended his title a few times, never lost. Only thing I would say is like you kind of hinted at, other major sports have like this window of like 5 years, right? Like you retire, 5 years later, you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. Football, baseball, and basketball all have that. Combat sports, especially UFC and mixed martial arts, has wanted to be taken seriously as a mainstream sport for years. You talk about their deals with ESPN and some other stuff, and they want to be like, we're a mainstream sport. Start talking about us the way you talk about football, baseball, basketball, and even boxing. But now but doing this is almost WWE like, right? Because like WWE's putting in The Undertaker, who just finished up last November at Survivor Series, I believe. Like, so now, and all of a sudden he's going straight into the Hall of Fame. We saw it with other people like Edge and Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels and, people that get these like immediate Hall of Fame, right? I don't see the problem of waiting like a year or two for Khabib before we put him in the Hall of Fame because he is still so young and he could change his mind. He might not. We know he stands on his principles more than anybody. Like we know if he says this is this, then it probably is. And as far as I know, from everything I've heard, he hasn't really had the itch to compete anymore. He had it in the beginning, but it kind of went away quickly. And now he's kind of just comfortable coaching. Like that's his competitive niche. That's how he gets it out. And then obviously running Eagle FC now, both in Russia and in Miami. So we'll see. I actually worry more about Eagle FC because of all the Russian sanctions going on right now. I know Khabib does have residence, well, not permanent residence, I believe, but temporary residence in the United States. So he's here quite frequently. But we just talked about it with Volkov last week. We talked about it with a lot of the Ukrainian fighters going back and all the Russian invasion stuff. A lot of Russian stuff is getting canceled. I wonder if this Eagle FC card happening in March or like later this month.
This Friday.
This Friday. Like I'm surprised they're even letting that happen. But this might be the last one if the Russian invasion gets worse. Of course, he's from Dagestan, not Russia, but there's a lot of close ties with him and a lot of the Russian stuff and a lot of the fights they do. They rotate every month, right? It's like one in the United States, one in Russia. So see what happens. He's riding a thin line with that one. So, but as far as his Hall of Fame, congratulations. Like the dude deserves it. He's undefeated. You don't see too many undefeated fighters making it to the Hall of Fame. A lot of fighters don't know when to get out, and he did. He got out. It was because of his dad passing away, but better to get out with money in your pocket than get hurt and brain damage. So congratulations to him. Next subject, my co-host is not extremely excited about. I look at it a different way, Brandon. So we're talking about Paige VanZant Paige VanZant is all elite. I don't know if they put pen to paper yet, but it's pretty much done. Storyline ways, it was Dan Lambert cutting a deal with Tony Khan to get Scorpio Sky a title shot and this and that. And in turn, he'll sign Paige VanZant to AEW, All Elite Wrestling. But if we look at Paige's kind of transition, right? Like she was a hot prospect in MMA, suffered a couple losses, still uber tough. Like she's still like, put her nose in there and go after it. She doesn't back down. She transitioned over to bare knuckle, fought a couple fights, didn't really go her way. There is word that she still has 1 or 2 more fights left on that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had talked for a long time about potentially one day joining WWE. Like she has never been secretive about possibly doing that. We know she's into entertainment. We know she's into maximizing the Paige VanZant brand as much as she can. She's in her mid-20s. She's young. She has a lot of time ahead of her no matter what she wants to do. She could come back to MMA anytime she wants. She is still super young. I think she's 26 or something like that. Maybe 28, but she's still not that old. I think she's 26. And then she started showing up on AEW, right? Kayla Harrison, All-American Top Team, all behind Dan Lambert. Of course, doing the storyline with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, who both have their own personal combat sports backgrounds. Scorpio's done a couple of MMA fights. Ethan Page is black belt in Taekwondo, I believe. So it makes sense for her to sign with AEW because she's been there already for a couple of appearances. She's obviously shown that she has the charisma to get in the ring. I know you're not really sold on this story. It's not a big deal to you, but you are a wrestling fan. What do you see her having an impact in AEW?
So first I was going to say she is 27. She'll actually be 28 at the end of this month. I think March 26th is her birthday, so she'll be 28 then. The reason why I'm saying
appreciate the fact check. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The reason why I'm just not really into it is just because let me see her in the ring first. That's all. Like to me, there's none for me to get excited about. Like, all right, she signed with AEW. Okay, I think she was supposed to be in a storyline with Brandy Rhodes, but Brandy Rhodes is gone right now. So what's going to be next for her? Like, let me see how she is in the ring. If she's gonna be a wrestler, cool. I'm all down for people being in the ring doing cool stuff. Like JDS, Arlovsky, they were in the ring. They got they had their wrestling match. Thought it was cool. Like let me see how.
Obviously Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, exactly. But can you be better than Ronda Rousey? Because man, I still will say she's bad. So I know other people disagree with me, but hey, what do I know about wrestling?
Ronda's not great in the ring, but Ronda brings a ton of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like she definitely looks. She looks like she's ragdolling the girls in the ring. Like she doesn't look like she's legitimately interacting and wrestling with them. Now I know Ronda's a diehard wrestling fan. I know she's been a wrestling fan her whole life. I know she has a ring that she built on the ranch with Travis Brown, and they practice. They've had regular wrestlers come out there and work with them. And I will say, since she's come back from having the baby, she does look a little better than she did her first time. But Paige is probably going to be the same. She's going to come in there with her combat sports background and not really know how to pull her punches so much, not know how to choreograph some of these things. And so she might look a little rough the first couple times she's seen it. We saw that with Ken Shamrock. When Shamrock first started wrestling back at WWE, and then before that, and a couple stops in the NWA and stuff before he came on, or Japan and some stuff, Ken Shamrock was very much a shoot wrestler and hurting people. Like he was hurting people. So Dan Severn, another dude. Like when you have a legitimate combat sports background, it's not the easiest thing. People think it's an easy transition into wrestling. It's not. Like you have to know how to 50% your punches, right? Like you have to know how to not kill the other person.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like I'm just trying to say, all I'm saying is I'm not gonna get hyped up yet because as I say, I'm just gonna say, let me see her in the ring. Let's see how she does. Let's see how she looks. you know, and we'll go from there. But hey, kudos to her. You know, like I said, she's the one to be a pro wrestler for a while. So kudos to her if she's going to be hanging out in AEW.
I mean, look, she's got the look. You know, she's a pretty girl. She's got the look. She's got the athleticism. And she has, you know, combat sports background. It should be a slam dunk for her. My only problem is always when you book a legitimate fighter against some of these girls or guys in some cases, and then they lose, it's unbelievable. Like, if you put her in a fight with Britt Baker, are you really expecting Britt Baker to beat Paige VanZant, who has a lot of combat sports experience? No. But in the AEW, you pretty much are guaranteed that somehow Britt Baker's going to come out on top. And it kind of, you have to suspend your disbelief. And that's really hard when you have a legitimate fighter coming over into an entertainment world, you know.
Hey, just let you know, Britt Baker, that's all.
How is the king of lady fighters such a hater?
Because I'm the king of
good I know
lady
you like,
fights,
I like your girls.
like Thunder Rosa, who should be your AEW champion, but
well, maybe she needs a better posse. How about that?
Hey, all I'm saying though, Thunder Rosa would smash Britt Baker easily, and I would take Thunder Rosa over my girl Paige VanZant, in which Thunder Rosa has done some MMA fights. She did for Combate Global, so that's real legit right there.
I mean, so did Alberto Del Rio. What's that mean?
Hey, exactly. But hey, you're the one talking about making it real over here, man, guy. You want to talk about experience? I'm just saying.
Nah. First of all, Thunder Rosa will never beat Britt Baker as long as she don't have no. She needs to stop hanging out with Sammy Guevara and Danhausen and start hanging out with some other females that can have her back the way Britt Baker got her little. Like Britt Baker basically has the female four horsemen. Like she got her little crew like running. Like she's Ric Flair. She's Ric Flair, and they're making sure she wins every damn match. Like she's got it figured out. And if that don't work, then she's calling her boy Adam Cole and the Elite. Like she has backup beyond backup. So storyline ways, if you're talking wrestling, she's untouchable. She's the Godfather. Like she's got Tony Khan in her pocket. Like what?
Yeah.
I don't think Britt Baker's going to hold that belt longer than Bob Backlund. Anyway, that's enough professional wrestling talk before our whole show turns out. We know everybody's tuning out probably already, but let's change gears. Here's an MMA subject that I think will put smiles on a lot of people's faces, Brandon. Former NFL football player Greg Hardy is now a free agent. He got signed off of Dana White's Contender Series. He made a big impact when he first jumped from the NFL amid controversy to MMA. He got suspended for a long time from the NFL, decided to take up MMA in the meantime. Who knew that a guy who's used to knocking people out, male or female, would be good at knocking people out? Except he didn't really have much skill behind it. He was just big, strong, powerful, and athletic. He made it all the way to the UFC. Congratulations. Still had a little success in the beginning of the UFC. Then he started going up against people that have more than one skill of just striking. And then he lost. Now, he's recently been hanging out a lot with Rashad Evans and some of the Black Zillion crew. He's been training with them, trying to make his game more well-rounded. And yet he got in a fight with Spivak, who's not the most talented grappler. And he still got him on the ground, tapped him out pretty easily like it was nothing. Greg Hardy, after the fight, as a lot of fighters, in fairness, as a lot of fighters do when they lose a tough fight, start questioning everything, right? And Greg Hardy admitted that his contract was up. He hadn't re-signed with the UFC. He doesn't know what's next for him. He doesn't know if he'll fight again. He doesn't know because he said his own self, he can't seem to figure it out. He can't seem to get over whatever. Like, I've been practicing wrestling, and then somebody still just took me down like it was nothing. I'll ask you two questions. Taking what most people would consider a positive out of this, because Greg Hardy might be the most universally hated person in the world. Do you think he has a future in MMA? Or do you think he's done? And what did you think of his MMA run?
Do I think he has a future in MMA? Yes, of course. I mean, I say Greg Hardy was somebody who got signed to the UFC pretty early in his MMA career. I think he only had like 3 fights, and then they brought him into the UFC. All his wins are against are in the UFC are against guys who are no longer in the UFC. His L's are in guys, you know, who are I want to say all of his losses are guys who are ranked like top 15. You know, so I'm saying, so he's just not there yet. Like, he really hasn't had the chance to progress in his skills. You know, maybe if he would have stayed and did a couple of fights in the LFA, to that way he keep growing. You know, guys around his level, he could progress. But you're having him jump up against, you know, a Tai Tuivasa. Remember when he fought Tai Tuivasa, he had him hurt, but he made a mistake. He got caught. You know, this one is again like we talk you want to talk about repetition, like, you know, putting hours in to master a skill.
Just for the record, he's fought his entire, except for one fight in the XFL, he has fought his entire career in front of Dana White. He had his LFA thing was amateur, and then he had three amateur fights. He made his pro debut in Dana White's Contender Series, season 2, episode 1. Didn't get signed right away. He knocked the guy out. He came back later in the season and knocked another person out. And then he had a knockout at the XFL, and then he made his debut at Alan Crowder, which then, of course, was the illegal knee. Then his whole career at that point was up and controversial. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I'm just saying, like, to me, like, he has potential. I mean, he's still young. He's 33 years old. You know, for heavyweight, that's definitely young. You know, you go into your 40s as a heavyweight,
and he doesn't have the wear and tear. He only has 12 fights.
Yeah, you know, I think it was him too, man. Like, maybe he needs to change his eating habits, because again, apparently, like, he came in over like 290 pounds. So you ever bring a 290 pound guy, you know, cut all the way down to 265, 266, and then you're letting that go back up. Maybe he should become a little bit lighter. You know, so I mean, I think this is good for him. Like, you think of somebody like a Brendan Moreno. You know, he got cut from the UFC, came back, became a champ. You know, so I'm saying the same thing can happen with Greg Hardy. You know, he gets cuts from the UFC. Maybe he do some fights for LFA. You know, does some local shows, whatever. You know, maybe he does go to Bellator. You know, he gets some fights there, and that way he gets a chance to just progress, get better. You know, and then we'll see what happens with his future there. But I think like I said, I don't think he's done with MMA. I mean, unless he wants to be done, but I think he still has a future in it if he wants to stay with it.
What do you think about the option? And I'm just throwing this out there. What if he went to somewhere where he didn't have to worry about grappling, and he did like either regular boxing or a
bare knuckle?
Triller just bought bare knuckle, so you know it's going to be even more of a spectacle. I'll be polite, as it was before. What if he went to bare knuckle?
Yeah, I mean, he could do that too. You know, like
BKFC is right. Basically, you know, I mean, they're pretty much running out of Florida at this point. Yeah, he's living in Florida at this point.
I mean, like you said, you know, he has options. Like, there's options for him. So, like I say, he doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know if he wants to stay with MMA. Maybe he could go to bare knuckle boxing, because I'm sure either way he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get that money. He still is a name.
Yeah, and well, he doesn't have one option. He cannot go back to the NFL. That is not an option. Look, Greg Hardy is hated for a reason. What he did, whether he's been convicted of or not, the pictures are out there. The evidence is out there. You can't ever forgive somebody like that. If I'm looking unpartisan at his fighting career, he's had highs, he's had lows, but he's never going to be able to really get anywhere at MMA against anybody that has any kind of ground game. You saw even Francis Ngannou, who's known for knocking people the F out, went against Cyril Gane and wrestled him. Like, you need to evolve. And it shocks me that he's with Rashad Evans and he's not evolving, which makes me kind of wonder what Rashad Evans is. We talked about the Black Zillions relaunching, and we talked about all the coaches that came along with the original Black Zillions that are now, you know, just succeeding everywhere. You know, Henry and Santiago and all those guys are like thriving other places. It makes you wonder if Rashad Evans can do this with his own crew and his own team, because his first person out didn't make a very good example. If Greg Hardy is somebody he's putting forward and being in his corner, because he was in the corner for Greg Hardy for this fight. Mm-hmm. I gotta wonder, like, Rashad Evans needs to surround himself with better coaches, because it's a team. You know this. Tiger Schulman's is not one coach. It's not Tiger. It's Tiger, and then it's a bunch of other people. You know, Ron and all these other people involved, not to mention the other fighters like Shane and all these other guys that jump in and help each other. Like, you guys are a family. And don't chime in, it's fine. but you guys are a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Black Zillions before were a family. Everybody from Rumble to Vitor and everybody, Alistair came in, everybody was a family. If Rashad Evans doesn't get that family back together, or at least a new family, I don't know how successful the new Black Zillions is going to be. Any final thoughts on the subject before we go on? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, well, like, how long have they been working together? You know, and then also too was like, well,
question,
and then also too was like, well, I mean, Greg Hardy, like, they could have went over something, but Greg Hardy could have just made a mistake, and then boom, he got flipped over. You know, so it's like, it's one of those things where it just takes time on these things. Like, that's the thing. So like, I'm not gonna get on Rashad Evans already on his coaching. Like, one fight, like, hey man, stuff happens in a fight. You know, you freak out, you forget something that you worked on. Like, again, like saying, we've known Greg Hardy has been known to make mental errors in his fights. Like I said, we just talked about. I mentioned up his tie to a Vasa fight. You know. So I'm saying, like, he makes mental errors. Like, that could just be on him. Maybe he needs to go see a sports a psychologist or something like that to help him. You know, but like I said, man, we just got to see what is going to be next for him.
I'm not really bashing Rashad. I'm just saying that I think it's going to be interesting to see who he surrounds himself with. That's all I'm saying. Because we saw a lot of those guys went over to Sanford, started Sanford up, and you see the success. And it's not always easy to rebuild a dream team. You know, that's all I'm saying. It's like you need to surround yourself. It has to be more than just Rashad Evans. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Personally, I think Greg Hardy is done with MMA. I think you'll see him in bare knuckle. I think you'll see him in celebrity boxing, Triller, stuff like that. He'll get his paydays, like you said. But I don't see him popping up. I don't see Scott Coker running to, like, sign him. I wouldn't be surprised if the PFL signed him because they're always looking for a big name. You know, we saw they just recently re-signed Kayla, like we knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Get that $1 million paycheck, Greg Hardy. Get that $1 million paycheck. You'll run through those dudes.
I don't think he would. I think Bruno would whoop his ass. Capolosa would beat the crap out of him. I think Ante would beat the crap out of him, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's that. Real quick before we make our picks, we do appreciate Scott Coker watching our show because now it will be Arlene Blencow versus Cyborg on April 23rd. As you know who said should happen. So thanks, Scott. Keep on watching the show. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. All right. That said, Brandon, you ready for the lead dog to continue his ways?
Sure, man. Let's see what you got this week.
Remember, just like your shirt says, don't look back. Anyway, let's go. We're going to go ahead and kick things off. We got two big cards coming up this weekend. Both Bellator and UFC are in action with some loaded cards. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off. Bellator 276. And because Brandon likes to give me a little crap behind the scenes, we're going to make an extra pick for each card. So more picks, more ways for your lead dog to go ahead and just pad his lead and climb up the food chain. Brandon's not having a great year statistically. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep piling on that because we know come September, October, I'm going to be on the bottom crying like a little girl. So I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way right now. Brandon, you ready to go? Bellator 276, headlined by a couple like really up-and-coming stars, Adam Borics, Mads Burnell. Both of them have put on really impressive performances, 17-1 versus 16-3. Both have big wins. Who you got in this one, and tell me why?
I'm gonna go with Adam Borics. I think he is the sharper fighter, especially with his hands and feet. I could definitely see a finish coming in this fight. Also, too, man, he trains at a good gym. I want to say I think he's down in Sanford as well. So I just got Adam Borics.
He fights out of Sanford.
Yeah. So I got him coming in, getting that hand raised. Remember, he only has one loss. So I think this is a good fight for him to keep showing off his brand.
Okay, so they're both really good on their hands and their feet. Like I mean, hands and ground. Like, they both have really good striking and submissions. Borics' only slip up was against Caldwell last year or 2 years ago. He got caught in the rear naked choke. No shame there. Caldwell's a former champion, and Caldwell does that to people, right? Mm-hmm. Since then, he's come out. He had the split decision, but then had 2 straight decisions. I'm actually going with Mads Burnell in this one. And the reason why is because I think he's built to last. I think he comes in this fight with a better resume of fighters he's gone through. He just beat Emmanuel Sanchez, Saul Rogers. He fights out of the Netherlands, and he has a lot more submissions. And if your one weakness is getting caught in a rear naked choke or caught on the ground in a scramble, even though Borics does have submissions, I think this is the wrong guy for you, because we know Mads can wrestle. We know he's going to try to take you down, and he doesn't leave too many fights to decisions. He had a decision against Sanchez, but other fights he's like finishing left and right, and a lot of neckties, a lot of rear naked chokes. Like, that's what he does. So I'm actually going to take Mads Burnell in this one. I think he's going to knock off the hype train of Adam Borics, and I don't think Adam Borics is a slouch by any means. I think he's a star too. But this is a really good main event, and I think we're going to be in for a show. I think it's going to be a fun fight. But I think Mads Burnell takes this one. Over in the co-main event, you got your boy, Mr. Wonderful, Phil Davis against Julius Anglikis. Who you got in that one? Let me guess.
Come on, man. You already know my boy, Phil Davis.
You're taking Julius, right? You got Julius, right?
No, I got Phil Davis all day, every day, man. Like I said, man, Lou, to me, he could be the second best light heavyweight in this division. Besides after the champ, because he's lost to the champ 2 times. But I mean, other than that, as
has Anglikis. So there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Stop it, man.
What? Julius just lost his last fight to Nemkov. That was his last fight. He took it on short notice.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I just got Phil Davis, man. I think he has the wrestling advantage, of course, and I'm saying, man, people sleep on his striking, but man, he keeps people away with his jab and his low kick. So I'm going with Phil Davis. We'll see what we'll be rocking the pink shorts on that day.
Look, I give you crap. We know Phil Davis is going to win this fight. I'm taking Phil Davis. It's not even a question. A lot of great other cards on there. Salter versus Eplin, Derek Anderson, Yamauchi. Who's your fight pick for this fight?
Yeah, that was a good name. Man, you already know what it is, man. King of the lady fight. It's got to go with the only lady fight, I think, on this card, actually. Let's see. It's
the way you gave me crap over my pronunciations the last couple weeks, you better say this name right.
I just said it. Avsaragova. I'm going with Avsaragova versus Batera, but I'm going with Avsaragova because you just look at their record, man. Homegirl's 4-0. Other girl is 8-4. I think she has the experience, but I think this is another setup fight. For Avsaragova. So I think she's gonna get her hand raised. Spotlight feature. Prop her up.
Well, props to Ashley Dean. She is the CFFC. She did fight in her last fight, CFFC. But yeah, you're probably right. Diana's looking for a come up, as is a few other fighters on that card. Cody Law is another one's on that card. Romero Cotton, a lot of undefeated fighters or one-loss fighters looking for a come up. It's kind of like Bellator's MO. They like to give a lot of spotlights of up and coming fighters. But my fight pick of the night is 2 guys that have been around for a little while. Derek Anderson and Gadi Yamauchi are going to throw down. They're going to throw down, and that could easily be fight of the night. Both those guys come for the win. They come for the finish. But I'm going to surprise people. I actually think Yamauchi's going to take this one. I think he's been on a little bit better of a hot streak. I think he's been a lot more impressive in his last couple of performances. Derek Anderson's been getting wins, but not like how he usually does. So I think Yamauchi's going to get the upset in this one. That's my fight pick. Like I said, a lot of other good fights on that card. Alex Pelosi's on that card. Feraldo. Dan Bush is another up-and-coming fighter in the early prelims. J.J. Wilson, another one of those, up-and-coming 145-pound fighters we've been talking about. This card is stacked. Johnny Eblin, 10-0 against a former number 1 contender, John Salter. So going to be a lot of fun fights. Bellator's bringing the heat. So check out that card on Showtime, March 12th, as usual. All right, Brandon, let's switch gears. Let's head over to the UFC and then get on out of here today. UFC headlined by Thiago Santos, always one of my favorites, going against Magomed Ankalaev. Who you got in that one, and tell me why?
I'm going Ankalaev, man. I mean, he was on a 7-fight win streak. I say, man, Thiago Santos hasn't been the same ever since his John Jones loss.
His knee injuries, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, like he did get a win against Johnny Walker, but it really was lackluster. There was really nothing to it. Saying Ankalaev has good striking. You already know he definitely has the wrestling. So I think he's gonna get his hand raised and get the job done.
Yeah, Ankalaev isn't one of those traditional Dagestani wrestlers, right? He goes out there and tries to finish people on their feet. Mm-hmm. To date, he doesn't have a single submission. Like he's not that dude. And his only loss is to the submission game, Paul Craig, who gets a lot of people. Just ask Jamal Hill.
Yep.
Thiago, on the other hand, he had a tough, he went to war with John Jones. Arguably won that fight with 2 torn knees and lost the decision, but in the fans' eyes, he might have won that fight. Went to against Glover, now the current light heavyweight champion, no shame in that loss. Alexander Rakic, another top contender, no shame in that loss. But he never got going against either guy. Lackluster performance against Johnny Walker, but he got the win. Now, on paper, this fight would be right up Thiago Santos' alley, right? Striker versus striker, they're going to throw down. Let's see who wins. But we saw that with Rakic. And Rakic just mauled him for 3 rounds. It wasn't even close. I don't think Thiago's been 100% back since he tore up those knees back in 2019. And I'm not sure at 38 years old, you can get all the way back from 2 torn knees. I mean, he had that, at 36, 35? Your body doesn't recover the same. I've had knee injuries later in my life. Not the way when you're 20s, you're back within a year. It's not the same as you get older. It takes longer. And Thiago Santos could be smart enough to win a fight, but Ankalaev is hungry. So I'm going to take Ankalaev in this fight because I think the only weakness he has might be grappling, which is crazy saying about a Dagestani guy. But Thiago's not a grappler. You can give him a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I ain't never seen him use it. Have you?
Yeah, no, as I say, he usually likes to throw those hands. That's why he's got that hammer on his chest,
Yeah, I mean, he's Thor. He wants to bang. So we'll see. I'm picking Ankalaev too, though. Over in the co-main, Magic Marlon Moraes versus Yadong Song. That's gonna be a banger. Who you got in that one?
I'm going with Yadong Song, man. Marlon Moraes just kind of hasn't looked at himself lately. I don't know if he's on the downslide, but to me, it's one of the things, man. You gotta show to me that you are back. And Song Yadong, man, he's hot right now. So I'm definitely rocking with him. I mean, I could see a finish coming on, man. You already saw, man. You already know Song Yadong has those hands. So this could maybe go 2nd, 3rd round stoppage.
Yeah, it hurts my soul to pick against Magic Marlon Moraes. I've been a fan of his always since World Series of Fighting. I love watching him fight. He's going to bring it every single fight. But 3 straight losses, even though they've all been top contenders. You saw what Yadong Song did to your boy Julio Arce. Song is just on a hot streak. I think he's probably physically longer than Marlon, so he has the reach advantage and some stuff. I wouldn't put it behind Marlon Moraes to pull one out of his hat, but it would have to be Magic because I think Yadong Song's going to win this fight, and it might even be a stoppage, like you said. So I'm not surprised by that. Once again, another loaded card, ton of up-and-coming fighters. Who you got in this one to check out?
Man, plenty of options to pick for a 3rd fight, but like I said, man, you know me, man, King of the Lady fights. I'm going to give her another shot. I'm going with my girl, Jillian Robertson versus JJ Aldridge, saying I'm going with Jillian Robertson to get the job done, saying I know she's been hanging out with Dean Thomas. Hopefully she's getting that striking game up to par.
I'm taking the L in this one, son.
I just think she's going to maybe take JJ Aldridge down and she'll finally get that submission. So I'm going with Jillian Robertson.
I'm going to pull a New York on you on this one. Son, you're taking the L in this one, son. I'll make you feel at home for that one, son.
Man, we'll see.
No, I don't see that one. You probably should have gone with Mazo and Maverick. That would have been a better, closer pick. For me, I'll be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna be right or wrong about this pick. I'm just so excited about this fight. I think it's gonna be that much fun. Khalil Roundtree and Carl Robertson. Like on paper, this is the kind of fight MMA fans want to see. these guys aren't going to sit there and play patty cake. Like, they are going to try to kill you. And both guys have the ability to put you out quick. Both guys have the ability to make a 3-round war. I'm picking Carl Robertson in this one. But, man, my heart isn't 100% on either side. I just want to see this fight. So I'm taking Carl Robertson in that fight. Once again, another loaded card. You got your boy Alex Pereira going against his second UFC appearance against Bruno Silva. He's been out there in the freezing cold, jumping into ice waters with Glover Teixeira. So if that doesn't make you tough, I don't know what else does. But we still got to see if he has a ground game. That's going to be the biggest test for him. You saw Izzy has developed a takedown defense. Alex is going to have to do that too, but he's training with Glover Teixeira. If Glover's taking you down every day and that doesn't toughen your wrestling defense up, I don't know what will. Drew Dober against Terrence McKinney, taking that fight on short notice. He just fought a couple weeks ago. He's turning right around, fighting again. Alex Caceres, everybody loves Bruce Leroy. He's going against Yusuf. You already mentioned JJ. Trevin Jones going against Bashard. Damon Jackson's back in action. Mazo and Maverick. You got Chris Matino we talked about. We're going to find out if Chris Matino is for real and just fought one of the top fighters in the world, and that's why he lost like that. I mean, he's getting a second shot. This is it. This is your make or break moment, Chris Matino. We know you're tough. We know you can take a beating. Now let's see if you can give one. Going against and it's a good opportunity. 8-6 fighter Canetti. You know, this is your chance. And Chuck Wu going against undefeated Mirzakhanov. So a lot of good fun fights going on that card. A lot of fun to check out. UFC Saturday night, March 12th, same night as Bellator. A lot of fun stuff. Now, Brandon, before we get out of here, let the people know. So you announced on Kicking It that you had the fight coming up.
Yeah.
But you are dealing with some athletic commission issues. Is there anything you want to update the fans on? Like,
no, man, like I said, just stay up to date, man. Just follow me on social media. I'll let you guys know what's going on. But as of right now, like I said, we're still looking forward to April 2nd, Atlantic City, New Jersey. And we'll just go from there. Like I said, hopefully all goes well. But like I said, just be on the lookout.
And also, I want to take this opportunity. Shout out to Tim Wheaton. Tim Wheaton and Brandon have been doing Kicking It. It's been doing great on the network. I don't know if they're going to be able to continue the show. We hope they will. We'll see how that works out. But Tim actually might be getting a full-time job in the industry. So do want to send a shout out to Tim Wheaton. Thank him for his contributions to Fighters First. We hope it can continue in some form, fashion, but he's going to be crazy busy. I know he's going to be covering Glory 80. He's going to be crazy busy over the next several months. So shout out to Tim. Thank you for everything you've done for us, and we wish you the best of luck. The door is always open, my friend. And I'm happy you finally got your Kicking It shirt. You're welcome. Not my fault. He put the wrong address. I had to get that fixed. It took a long time because I don't know if you know, he doesn't live in the United States. So getting a product returned, reissued, sent to the right thing just shows you the kind of dedication the Fighters First shows to our customers, even the people we know, but the people we don't know as well. I'll go to the wall for you guys. So make sure you check out fightersfirst.shop. Check out the latest, greatest. March 15th, we got a whole new rollout going for you guys. I will show you guys everything to the best of my ability. I'm still working on some stuff, but I will drop some teasers throughout the week on some stuff coming. So pay attention to our social media at fighters.first on Instagram, at Fighters First on everything else. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. Any final words this week, Brandon?
No, man. Just enjoy the fights. And don't forget Invictus tonight as well. So remember, support the ladies.
Invicta PFL Challenger Series continues this week. And I think one has a card this weekend, right?
Yeah, one does have a show this Friday. Lights Out. They got two. Oh no, they got one title fight. I don't remember if the Lineker fight is a title fight, but we finally got the John Lineker fight hopefully happening.
You think Nsong is done? On Nsong, because he just keeps losing. He's former 2-division champ, but he just has not won in a while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just might need a reset.
Maybe. I love watching the guy fight, but just hasn't been successful in some of his latest contests. But Ladies and gentlemen, that is Art of MMA. Now head over to fightersfirst.shop, get all the latest and greatest merch. Go ahead and get some of that mechanic merchandise and support your boy. For Brandon the Mechanic Cuttino, I'm Mike Ginn, and we're out.